Welcome back to Grit Gym, guys. We have Kelly Potter here. She goes by KP. What is it? KP Simple?
Keeping it simple.
Keeping it simple. So KP isn't it KP Simple?
KP_ing it simple.
There you go.
Very complicated.
On Instagram, are you on Facebook too?
Yeah.
I think you can follow her on Instagram too. So we're going to talk a little bit about nutrition, a little bit about, even wore the shirt today, the Lift Like a Girl shirt. I'll get you one of those before you go. So we're going to hear a little bit about Kelly's story, where she's been, and the documentation that she's done along the way through social media, which is really cool. And you want to tell them just a little bit about yourself, where you are? Well, I left out almost everything, so you go for it.
Okay, where do you want me to start? Where, like, about me, about...
Let's go for let's do it now. Let's do it like Quentin Tarantino style. So we'll go now.
Okay.
And then we'll go all the way back to the beginning, and then we'll come back to the middle.
Okay, deal. So I am a nurse. I am nursing faculty, and I'm a PhD student. I currently...
Huge nerd.
I am a huge nerd. That is an understatement. I am often seen working on statistics homework or in the gym right now or in my kitchen.
Statistics was the worst.
It's really bad.
It's
but
awful.
when I learn something and I actually understand it, I like get really excited.
Yeah, I understand that.
And it's even better because I read a lot of like nutritional like studies or weightlifting studies and I know exactly what they mean, which is really fun.
That's fantastic.
Like
so you're not just
brain.
reading the stuff and you're just like think you understand, but you don't really. Where
good.
you're like, I know what. I don't know. Like I heard a bunch of them recently. There's like something newtons per, and statistically, blah blah blah. And I was like, I'm gonna have to go with that.
Right, it's awesome. Like I can read it and I don't have to translate it in my head. I just understand it, which is sweet. So I love to lift weights, I love to cook, and I love to do nerdy things. So those are my big things. And it all kind of started in April of last year, so 2016. I weighed almost 200 pounds, and I decided one day that I was just done. Feeling really terrible, feeling tired and lethargic all the time, and really being unhappy with how my body looked and how my body functioned. So
do you think that those went hand in hand with each other?
Oh, absolutely.
Like the one fed the other, and then the other fed the first.
Absolutely,
kind of thing?
Absolutely. I mean, my self-confidence was really poor, and part of it was I had torn my ACL in January of last year.
Bummer.
So I was skiing in Colorado and a snowboarder lost control and hit me from behind and I had my feet planted, so it was an automatic just...
That'll do it.
Yep, it sure did. So I was in a brace at this time. I was overweight and I was really unhappy with what I could do, and I didn't like knowing that I was limited. So I decided one day that I was done feeling like that, and I said, okay, we're gonna switch things up. And so I did this nutrition and fitness program. It's called Tone It Up, which is where I really got started. And it was a meal plan that taught me how to eat clean and how to...
What's that? I know I'm cutting you off there, but what's that mean to you? What's clean mean to you?
Clean, whole foods, simple ingredients, nothing processed or artificial.
And when you see whole grains on a box of Cheerios, does that mean whole foods?
When I see whole grains, that's fine. The other things behind it, and I don't eat Cheerios very often.
Just wanted to make that distinction.
Yes. So whatever comes behind it, sure. But whole grains, I see nothing wrong with that.
Thanks.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you a little bit about my mindset as it's evolved. So I started out with this very clean diet. It was very consistent, very much whole foods, nothing super processed, nutrient-dense foods, and it really changed the way I was eating. Before this, I was eating like a lot of like empty carbohydrates, fast food, takeout things, just convenience, because I was working rotating shifts as a nurse. I was in a master's program. I was starting a new job. I was commuting from Des Moines to Iowa City.
Damn.
It was busy.
Yeah.
It was really busy. So really made like a gear switch, and it worked. So over the course of about 6 or 7 months, I had lost about 55 pounds.
That's impressive.
It was very consistent. I think that's the thing. Like if I do something, I am pretty much in it.
I think that, like, is there any other way to really be successful? I've never seen anybody make progress in anything, especially strength conditioning, fat loss, whatever, and unless they just went all in with everything there.
Right. And I do think that you have a little bit of wiggle room with that, but overall in your grand scheme of things, your big picture, which I'm all about, is the consistency piece for it. So
yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah. So I was doing that. I was doing a lot of cardio. I was a little spin queen. I mean, I was going to spin class probably like 6 or 7 times a week, plus doing like what I was calling toning workouts. So very light weights. And
I like the quotes and the toning.
Yes, the toning workouts.
Don't use more than 12 pounds.
Right. The max I was doing was 2 15-pound dumbbells for RDLs.
You're so hardcore.
It was so hardcore. There's nothing wrong with that. It is a start. And
I'm making fun, but I totally understand.
Yeah. So, about this time last year, I decided, okay, I've lost all this weight, but I want to be strong.
Yeah.
I want to have more function. I want to be able to be functionally fit. I want to be able to do pull-ups and handstands and
Now you're talking the fun stuff.
Ninja stuff.
Ninja.
Functionally fit. I wasn't super focused on the aesthetics portion of it.
Sure.
I was pretty happy with where my body was aesthetically, but I wanted to be able to do more. And so I started working with a trainer.
Cool.
And had a personalized program and really started lifting heavy.
Yeah. What's heavy mean to you? Now we're trying. I'm kind of switching back and forth between now and then.
Well,
sorry.
it's a transition. It's still. So we moved from this lots of cardio, toning workouts to heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And when I say heavy lifting, I mean progressively increasing the amount of weight that I'm lifting on a regular basis.
Did you guys hear that?
To stimulate muscle hypertrophy.
Did you guys hear that? Because this is something I think really gets lost. Some people think heavy means I got to come in and use the big plates right away.
No.
It's no, you don't. 65 pounds might be a max deadlift to a 60-year-old, 110-pound female that has never lifted before.
Right.
It is completely relative to the person involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I started out doing a goblet squat with a heavy, to me, kettlebell. And progressively, I have increased
What'd
that
you start
too.
with? What'd you start with? Like an 8 kilogram, 12, something like that?
And I do pounds, so...
Well, 12 would be 25.
Probably 30.
8 would be 17.6.
Probably 35-pound
so
kettlebell goblet squat.
That'd be 16 kilograms.
Yeah. Is where I started.
It's a good starter.
Mostly to focus on form.
Yeah.
Gradually started increasing weights, moved to a front squat, then added in the back squat, added in overhead press, deadlift, and bench. So the big lifts. And it's been fun. Yeah. I've tested my max once so far for all of my lifts.
Are you back squatting or front squatting more? Because girls sometimes will do better with one or the other.
So I do both. Right now I do back squat twice a week and I do front squat once a week.
Which one are you putting more weight on the bar for?
Oh, back squat, for sure.
Yeah, you're a back squatter.
Yeah, for sure. I was struggling a bit my last program with front squat, just trying, not 2 programs ago. So my last program, we focused on pause front squats.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
No, those aren't fun at all. Those are brutal. That's mean.
Rough. It was rough, but they ended up being one of my favorite lifts. Yeah. Because you see improvement.
Oh, they're a burner for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And you build a ton of strength in that isometric phase. So, so there's, and I think there's something to just being in the bottom of the hole and just getting comfortable there and figuring out, oh, this is what's clicking on and clicking off, and this is the timing of the muscle, and you build a little bit of a different relationship.
Absolutely.
When you're down there, but yeah, I hate those.
Yeah, I love to hate them, but they're
good way of saying it.
Yeah, they're good. There are only a few workouts or lifts or things that I don't really like to do.
Yeah, there's a few that I can't say I really hate any lift, but I like it when some are over more than others. Like lunges, I'm so happy for those. Whenever those are done, I'm just yes. Chin-ups, I'm okay, I'm done with those.
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah. I hate a lot of accessory things that always end up getting put in my program anyway. I hate bicep curls. I hate them.
A lot of girls hate bicep curls.
Them.
Yeah. I just don't do a lot of them.
No,
we in here we do some. We press enough that from an elbow standpoint, you would want to do some
Right.
like some hammer curls or some like Zotman curls or reverse curls, but we don't do a ton of just like
No. I
Really?
just don't enjoy them. I'm just bored and I don't like them at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the one thing that sticks out as things
yeah.
that
I get a lot of
truly
eye
hate.
rolls on bicep curls.
Yeah,
it's funny.
yeah.
But what are you squatting now? So because you started out with 16 kilograms, 35 pounds, somewhere in that realm. What do you
Well,
squat now?
it's hard to say because I haven't tested my maxes. I'm doing that not next week, the week
Well,
after.
what do you think you could do for like 5 reps?
Oh.
We don't test 1 rep max like barely, like
Let's see.
maybe once or twice a year.
5 rep max. It's hard to say. Okay, so back squat, I don't know. It's not as fresh in my mind. Today I did front squats, and my 95% was, last I tested it, was 125.
That's a little bit different than 30 pounds.
A little bit different. Last I tested it.
That's pretty good.
I know that I could do way more than that right
You're
now.
getting pretty close to putting the big plates, the big
Yeah,
guys on the
I know,
outside.
and I do put the plates on for
Yeah.
my back squat. So
It's kind of a pivotal day.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what I max out on in a couple weeks, because the way that I was feeling today, especially, I felt power. Like I felt strong. Like
Nice.
it felt easy.
Do you think that your vocal cords are because I've done that before, like where I've lifted something, like really had to like not grunt it up, but really had to lock down and drive my diaphragm and everything, and I get done and I speak and it sounds like I'm trying to talk like this.
I hope not,
And
because it's only gonna get worse.
And it's just like I'm really not trying to sound cool, I swear, but it's just coming out like this like overdeveloped movie
and
character.
I'm not much of a grunter when I lift, but I do.
Yeah.
I am.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly. The people who really, I understand it once in a while, but it, at the worst, it should be like almost like a groan. not
Yeah, or like a huge
"Hurrah!"
exhale,
Yeah.
like coming up. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what I max out on. It's hard to say exactly what it'll end up
Do
being.
you guys do a true 1 rep max or do you do a calculated?
We do a true rep one.
Do
rep
you
max,
really?
Yeah.
That's very kind of cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm so averse to injury. Just 'cause- I think it's partly just because I've been injured so
Yeah.
much in my lifting career and athletic career that we hardly ever do a 1 rep max. I mean, very very rarely. So
Yeah.
we'll do like a 1+ where I think that they'll probably get somewhere between 3 and 6 reps.
Yeah.
Once in a while, but for the most part, we're
Yeah.
just doing calculated
Yeah,
maxes.
so today my lift was 95% of my previous max, 1+.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. So how many times did you get it?
I got 3, but I think I could have gotten more.
Yeah. And you did that with 120. So
120.
120. So yeah, you're getting pretty close.
Yeah, I know I can do more than that though. So I'm excited to see what the actual one is.
Yeah. That'll be cool.
It'll be good. It's gonna be a stressful week. But
So
it's
tell them a
good.
little bit about the now. You start you said you were 200 pounds when you started this journey a little over a year ago, like
Yeah.
April. What is April? The 4th? Is that the 4th month of the year? I never remember those things. I probably should. But so you're about a year and a half.
Yep.
Or a little over.
Yep.
Where are you now?
So my lowest weight, I was 138. I
You're
was,
pretty tall for 138.
right,
What are you? You're like 5'9", 5'10"?
5'9".
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very, very thin. That was in January.
Yeah.
I have been gradually, so I started around the same time that I started lifting heavy, I started tracking my calories because
Okay.
the types of foods that I like to eat are very nutrient dense, very not calorie dense at all. So it takes a lot of food in order to meet my goal of gaining muscle.
Yeah, if you're gonna eat.
If I'm gonna eat,
It's pretty hard to eat broccoli and overeat on
exactly,
calories. Yeah.
it's very
Yeah, it's
hard
very
to
difficult.
overeat on nutrient dense
Yeah,
foods,
yeah.
on whole foods.
That's like one of those things, like the glycemic load versus glycemic index, and all you looked at was glycemic index, and you said, oh, it's like, oh, carrots can't be in my diet anymore.
Right.
It's like, no, you'd have to eat so many carrots to have
Right.
the glycemic effect.
Right. People think about all of the sugars that are in certain vegetables or even fruit, but they kind of disregard the amount of fiber that's in all of that.
Yeah.
And the fiber slows the release of those sugars, and it's hard to overeat on those foods.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to just not track calories, continue to eat the foods that I'm eating, I would not be able to grow
Right.
as I am. So my lowest weight was 138. I had been tracking calories for, remember, 3 months almost at that point.
What'd you find?
Gradually increasing. I needed to increase. My metabolic efficiency, even though I was under eating for quite a long time.
I don't think we went over that.
No,
I know
we
we
didn't.
talked about it earlier, but real quick.
Yeah. So when I was not tracking my calories, I was severely under eating, and I didn't know this until after the fact. after I had educated myself.
Yeah.
So I was eating probably 1,200 to 1,400 calories a day, doing a lot of spin.
I just can't even believe that.
It was
so low.
Yeah, but I wasn't hungry because I was eating a lot of fiber, a lot, you know. So I was doing like an hour of spin every single day, plus another hour probably of my.
You're such a little nutcase.
It was insane. It was insane.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, insanity, like obsessiveness, like I think these are like everybody looks at these like they're negative words. I don't think they're bad words.
No. I mean, it was just it's surprising, and you know, hindsight.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really change what you know, the decisions and things that you do in the past.
But you learn from it. You kept
Exactly.
on improving. Yeah, that's one of those things
Exactly.
that I see people do is they'll be like they got to a level and then they just kept on doing what they always did, or they'll commit to one thing for like 2 weeks and a new thing for 2 weeks and a new thing for 2 weeks. It's like you got to let it run its course, and
Right.
then you up your game. You can't just keep on going laterally.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was under eating. I mean, I was burning off probably 800 calories on top of my 1,200, 1,400. That is not enough food.
Yeah, that's malnourishment.
It is. It is bad. So anyway, so I
And then what'd you do?
I increased my calories. So I started lifting heavy. I started working with a dietitian. He told me, you need to eat more. I said, oh, okay.
No kidding.
All right. And you need to do less cardio. And I said, oh.
How'd that one
okay.
feel?
Well, it was stressful at
But you
first.
took the, because I say that to people sometimes and they think I'm nuts. Like, what do you mean less cardio? Why would you ever do less cardio? That's crazy. You need more and more.
He said, you don't need to lose fat anymore. You need to gain or you want to gain muscle. All cardio is doing is burning off the calories that could be used toward building muscle.
That's a good way to put it.
That's all he
Yeah.
needed to say to me.
It's a
And I
very
was
simple
like,
way to put it.
oh, that's the only thing cardio is doing for me. I mean, besides, you know, cardiopulmonary function and things like that.
What I
cardio
just
has
said
its
sounded
purpose.
like I was dissing cardio. I'm
I
not.
just cardio on
but
a regular basis.
it has its place, right?
Right.
But it's so oversold and
Right.
so overbought into, and it's just like people think that they got to jog 5 miles every day and do their lifting on top of it. It's like no, if you did that, like 5 miles is a lot for one, but if you just got your cardio doing something fun,
Right.
like going paddleboarding or
Right.
going dancing or shit, laughing with your friends, like.
Yeah, going for a bike ride. Like,
Rather than, you
Yeah.
can put stress in your heart in a lot of different ways.
Absolutely. Good stress on your heart.
Yes.
Yeah. So I dropped my cardio, started lifting, incorporated rest days. Those are hard at first.
Yeah,
Now I
was gonna
love
say.
them. I
Yeah.
love them so much. And so really switched, you know, I was too much, pulled back a little bit, increased my calories, and I have gained muscle. So my body fat, I wish I would have tested it when I started lifting
Yeah.
heavy.
That's
I
like
would,
the classic, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody says, I wish I would have taken before pictures.
I
Yeah,
and
wish
I
would've
have
done
all
this.
of the before pictures,
Yeah?
which is the cool thing. Yeah,
That's great.
yeah, it is cool. But you know, I was doing caliper testing, but I was seeing a lot of variation in
Yeah. It's
what
hard to
those
get
results would
a
be.
really good consistent pinch.
Exactly.
Just get human error,
Yeah.
day to day. At least it's something, right? It's a
Yeah.
lot better than just getting on the scale.
Absolutely, because the scale doesn't reflect changes in body composition at all.
It's just your relationship with gravity.
So I I had caliper testing done. I would probably estimate myself before I started lifting heavy, I would say I was probably about 27% body fat, maybe on the high end if I'm
You
estimating.
mean after
After
losing
my
the first
weight loss,
55?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because you're not that now.
No.
There's no way.
No. I'm 19%
Yeah.
right now. And
That's where I would have guessed you.
Yeah.
I didn't want to actually guess and look like a huge
No,
asshole.
no.
But
yeah, so I had started getting bod pod testing, and
Oh,
it's
cool.
just been
Yeah.
cool, and so have a good grasp of where my body fat
Yeah.
is sitting. So I had lost body fat despite the fact that I was eating more, doing less cardio, and working out just overall
I love
less.
this. I love this.
It's great. It's like, it's really cool because I like all this stuff because it's just science. It's like exactly the way the body's supposed to work.
I know.
I have seen it in myself, which
Yeah.
is like the coolest thing.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you for being able to like take that advice and run with it because it's very against mainstream standardized. You know, like no, you're a female, you can't lift weights. or like, you know, like even if you go into like your standard Globo gym type place, it's a bunch of bro dudes standing in front of a mirror, picking their back knee and watching their biceps fill up with blood. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. And then like their machismo bullshit, like definitely like pushes all, like any female that shows up in there, they're like, what are you doing here?
Right.
Or they get, you know, like ogled the entire time, which is equally, I mean,
annoying.
Pick your poison.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so it's really cool that you're able to do it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So yeah, my focus now is continuing to build strength and muscle. Still eating. I mean, I eat an absurd amount of food every day, and I enjoy every minute of it. Like,
I really try to get, like, before we talk calories, before we talk, you know, like food timing, before we talk anything, it's always food type. It's like, why would you not focus on that up front? Like, get your micronutrient, get your health. Like, that should be the point of emphasis. And the same thing with like training for aesthetics versus training for performance. Like, well, I'll ask you, like, do you think that your aesthetics have taken care of themselves via working for performance?
Absolutely.
Or do you think that you were better off just spending all the time and that your body was looking better because
oh no, I didn't have defined abs when I was spinning all the time. I didn't have like visible muscle, you know. I mean, no.
with your 15-pound
with
RDLs.
my 15-pound RDLs, no. Like, I feel like I've grown. I've built curves in the process.
Was that a tough thing to say?
Built?
No, grown. Because like a lot of people, like especially the female crowd, like they don't want to grow. They're like, grow? Why would I want to grow?
I prefer the word grow versus gain when I talk about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because when I talk about this, because a lot of my Instagram started out as a way to motivate myself when I was overweight, has grown into this. Well, I don't even know what I would call it right now.
I don't know if anybody knows what social media really
I know.
is. It's a crazy monster.
It's a cool platform where I can communicate about my nerdy stuff and my lifting stuff and my cooking stuff. But I talk a lot about what I'm doing, and I try not to use the word gain as much. And I don't use the word bulk. I hate that. Especially because most of my followers, people who look at my stuff, my friends, they're women. Yeah. And so that has a very negative connotation.
It does.
For a lot of people a lot of women think I lift, I'm going to get bulky. Yeah. I don't want to gain weight. Well, I have gained weight since my 138. I don't weigh 138 anymore. Yeah. And I'm happy about it. Yeah. I've gained muscle in the process.
Is it all right to ask what your weight is right now?
142.
142.
But my body composition is so much different at 142 than it was at 138. My body fat percentage is less at 142 versus 138.
Yeah, so that's an amazing concept to get across.
It is. I mean, I wrote a blog post about this not that long ago about tracking your progress and how to do that effectively, and how the scale is just,
it's kind of garbage.
It's stupid. Yeah. It doesn't tell you anything other than a big, like, random number. It doesn't tell you anything about your makeup. Yeah. I think it's a really good way to like reinforce the idea that you're not good enough to be where you're going. It's like, oh, you get on there and it's like, oh, I only lost a pound. I guess I'm just going to be fat forever. You know what I mean? No. I've counseled, I don't know how many people at this point. I should probably go back and count. We could do that. But like, that's such a recurring theme. It's like, I got on the scale and felt depressed. I got on the scale and it ruined my day. I got on the scale, you know, and it's just like, really goddamn scale. I know.
Like, maybe you feel better. Yeah. And maybe if you feel better, you'll lose more weight. You'll have less stress hormones running through your body.
I know.
like all kinds of stuff.
This is my thing. Yeah, I know.
Oh, please do go off on this, because I love the recovery game. I love the stress hormone thing, because it's undeniable. I know. Like if you there's a book, if anybody is wanting to geek out on any of this stuff, there's a book called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers.
Oh, I've not read
this. It's a collection of this guy. He's like a weird dude, but so basically the concept of the book is like a zebra doesn't get an ulcer because when the lion comes up over the top of the hill to try to kill the zebra runs away using the stress hormones, using the energy instead of today we're not running away from saber-toothed tigers or going to fight anymore. So you get cut off in traffic. The same stress response happens. The same stress hormones happen. You get a fight with your significant other. You have a really hard workout. The same stress hormones happen, and you need those. You know, like Addison's disease is lack of cortisol, right? So you need those. But what happens when we don't use them?
Right.
Bad things happen.
Bad things happen.
Yeah.
I could get into hormones for a long time though. I love that stuff. I mean, it's nerd stuff for sure. It's awesome.
It's really geeky, but like it's one of those things that it can get so complicated and so profound and you can go and go and go and go, and it all comes back to this, like, what you got to recover, you got to relax, you got to sleep, you know, like, and it's amazing how simple the solution is.
I know, and I mean, I'll be the first one to say, you know, like I said, I work full time. I'm a PhD student. I emphasize my workouts. I cook like all of my meals for the most part. I mean, stress is a thing that I deal with, but when I know that I'm feeling, when I'm feeling it, I pull back.
Same.
When I really am thinking about my sleep, I know I could do better, which is why I pushed back my workout a little bit today. Which is why I have really emphasized sleeping on the weekends. I've taken myself out of some things that I don't really care so much about, but I felt like I've had to attend to focus on sleep and rest and recovery. It makes a big difference. It
does. It took me way too long. There's a fine line between tough and stupid, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, and I cross the line between tough and stupid all the time. But like you have to notice those things, and like it's not always obvious. It's not always like you went on a 3-day bender and didn't get any sleep. It's like you don't even know that your body is fighting off an illness.
Right.
And it might almost be losing if you don't only do half of your workout.
Right.
You know, and I don't mean do half of the exercises. I mean do half of the reps, or half of the weight, or half of the, you know, whatever it is. Just like yesterday, I know my body's kind of in one of those states right now, so I just came out. I did my warm up 3 times and left. It's just like you don't need to go hard all the time.
Yeah. Last week I took 2 days off.
Whoa.
I know, that was a big deal for me too. I had not skipped planned workouts in over 1.5 years. I've deloaded, I've taken an entire rest week, I've done that, but I felt
like that sounds like a strategic skip though.
Yeah, I felt bad enough where I knew that I was not going to do myself any good by being in the gym.
Yep. Yeah, it's you have to listen to that stuff, and the way that I like to say it is like all the magic happens during the recovery phase anyway. Yeah. Like no one got stronger in the gym.
Right.
No one lost a pound of fat in the gym. No one gained a pound of muscle in the gym.
Right.
Like nothing. Like that was the stimulus. That was the kind of the catalyst or whatever you want to call it. But all the magic, all the great stuff
happens during rest. It's the best.
Yeah.
That's why recovery is so important, and nutritional recovery, and I talk about that all the time.
Yeah, and if you don't have that, the way that we do it, or explain it, is that like if health is in the middle, the 4 wheels of a car, or the 4 corners, whatever you want to call it, is mindset, nutrition, exercise, recovery. So, because if you don't have one of those, you're really starving your body out for some attention that it needs.
Yep.
But
agreed.
Any geeky stuff that you want to talk about hormones and really lay on people?
Oh man, I don't
know.
Where
would you begin?
I know. I don't even know where to start with that. It's like. That's a rabbit hole. That's just a rabbit hole.
I agree. Even the super correlative research, but like your fat displacements, like where you actually end up putting your fat in your body, dependent on I have a hard time saying that, that's the cause of where you're fat, you know, because there's so many other factors going into it.
Oh yeah, there's a million things.
But there's a pretty heavy correlation between like high stress and midsection fat, you know, or low growth hormone and more fat around your ankles, you know. So like there's something there.
Increased cortisol and reduced muscle protein synthesis. Yeah.
You just at some point. But you do need a certain amount of stress.
Yes, absolutely. But if you're over-stressed, then it can be catabolic.
Yeah, I talk about knee stress with people once in a while because we have a lot of knee issues in here. And it's like some knee stress is like, you want that knee stress. Like otherwise, it's just going to go to pieces.
Right.
But there's a point, right? Yeah. We're almost up on time. Anything?
Oh, man.
I know.
That's crazy.
Just flies.
It does fly.
Any of the like words of wisdom, things that inspirational messages that you want to get across to people?
Focus on the big picture. I was just talking to someone about this, and a lot of people think, okay, I need to make sure that I am getting you know, these specific micronutrients. So people ask, are these specific things? And I really just need to focus on this, and this is going to make my entire, you know, body function the way that it needs to. Or I need to eliminate this food because it is bad for me. And
the demonization of foods.
This is going to impact my overall health status.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have gotten to the point now where there are certain things that I'm not going to put in my body. I've got the mindset that I'm not going to function appropriately. I've used the reference, you wouldn't put cooking oil in a Ferrari and expect it to run efficiently.
That's a good point.
Not that I'm comparing myself to a Ferrari.
Oh, I think you just did.
I mean, not intentionally, but it's just, you know, looking at your big picture and putting in, you know, good stuff, you know, the majority of the time, but also there's not really bad foods unless you're eating them all the time consistently. If you want to go have ice cream, be social. Like, don't put yourself in this like bubble where you're not enjoying your life.
I completely agree.
Because
or you're being a douchebag about, like, I should say that.
It's fine.
But being like an elitist, like, I don't eat that.
I don't. And I've been there. I've done stupid stuff like that before. I mean, I've just been I've been there. I've said, I don't eat that. I don't do that. Yeah. But it's, you know.
After a while, it's kind of like,
is it worth it?
Yeah.
Does it make a big difference?
I do this 3 times a year.
Right.
You know, it's the cumulative effects that are really going to.
Exactly. Like, that big picture is what's most important. And I think people get hung up on the eliminate dairy, eliminate gluten, eliminate this. Like, no.
Sugar is poison. Right. Grains will kill you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I completely agree.
And, you know, you hear a lot about preaching of balance and stuff, and you know, it's its own thing, but it's just look at your big picture and just consistency of good.
I agree.
That's my big thing.
And depending on the person, things might change a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. Like, you have an endomorph style person, body type person, like, they might eat a little bit different than somebody else. Or like in Iowa, we have to be really careful because it's meal plans are it's protected. Dietitians are protected. Geez,
right.
A little bit.
Right.
So what we do, we just focus basically on strategy. But that's what people need anyway. You know?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that an apple is better than a Snickers.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone's going to respond differently too, or have their own best ways that they can make health work for them. Like, you don't have to count calories. You don't have to, I mean, you can eat intuitively. You can follow a meal plan. You can do this. You just have to find what works best with your lifestyle. And like, my mom asked me to write her a meal plan, and I said, sure. And I calculated her macros, and I did it. And she was like, you know what? I can't do this.
Yeah.
Like, I can try to do this, but I'm not going to do it well. I was like, okay, let's pull back. Here's some options. Let's pick and choose, and you can pick a breakfast, 2 snacks, a lunch, and a dinner from this list, and you're going to be fine.
Yeah. And how'd that work for her?
It's worked. I mean, she's starting it, so she says this works.
This is recent?
Yeah, she's starting it. She says this looks like it's manageable.
Good.
So, and that's really what it comes down to. Is, can you do something consistently?
Right. Yeah, because if it's going to be something that they, like, I think, like, discipline has to be, it's just a given. It's just an assumption that you have to be disciplined to be able to do it. But at the same time, it's got to be, like, somewhat applicable to their life. Like, that eat every 2 to 4 hours thing.
Right.
It's like, at some point we got to get real on this.
Some people can do that. I have to do that, or I am an evil human.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Got that hangry thing going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I stopped doing that a lot. Like, it just became such a chore.
It is hard.
Food was just such a pain in the ass all the time. I didn't really think that the effects were bad or good.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, when I'm switching back and forth, 2 meals, 6 meals, 8 meals, 3 meals, I was like,
do you intermittently fast? Do you do this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's big picture stuff.
Yeah.
Put good in, good will come out.
Yeah. And like you say, like, just be extremely consistent with everything that you do, and have just mountains and mountains of patience, and just keep on upping your game as you go along. Good things happen.
Yep. Agreed.
Thanks for being here.
Of course.
Yeah. Remind them where they can follow. That came out.
Where they can follow
you.
So it's keeping it simple. KP_ING it simple on Instagram, and I think it's the same on Facebook, but I'm mostly active on Instagram.
Cool. Well, thanks for being here. I really
Yeah.
appreciate
Oh
it.
yeah, it's been fun. I'd do it again.
You're a
It's
cool person. I like following you on on Instagram
thanks.
too. Instagram.
It's a lot of sass and nerd. That's the majority
It's
of
good
it.
though. It's great.
Good.
It's fantastic stuff.
I'm glad.
Anyway, thanks for being here, guys. You can go follow Kelly over at her. I don't even want to try to do it.
Keeping it simple.
Keeping it simple.
Yeah.
I'll get it. That's simple.
And Grit Gym for my peeps.
Yeah. Everybody actually probably gets yours right and gets mine wrong because everybody thinks it's like grip. Like with
Oh,
a P.
grit.
Yeah, or great.
You can see it behind
Great
me.
Gym. Or like if you do the auto thing into the phone, it'll come out great JIM. So it's really funny. But,
Great Gym.
Yeah, great Gym. But thanks for being here, guys. We're gonna hop off, but glad you came by.
Yeah, it's
Thanks.
been fun.
All right, see ya.